Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports Redefined. Today we have Behram Qazi, who have done a great work in a very short span of time. Welcome to the show, Behram. How are you?
Thank you so much, Faizan, and thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great and glad to be here.
Yeah, so before we go towards any other discussion, the audience would like to know about your journey. In a very short span of time, you have achieved a lot in sports journalism in Pakistan. So, how was your journey overall? Would you like to share it with us?
I know, well, thank you for that praise, of course. It's very humbling, but I know from the outside it looks like I've made it and everything, but I've only just gotten my foot in the door, or I still have to do a lot more work to be where I want to be. So I'm not even close to where, I aim to be someday, hopefully, if God is kind. But it wasn't a spontaneous sort of decision. There's a lot of hard work that's gone behind it. I've been working, or at least trying to contribute towards cricket journalism since 10 years now. 10 years ago, April 2nd, I believe, 2013, I wrote my first article for the Tribune blogs. And 2013 to 2017, I was writing whenever I felt inspired for the Tribune blogs. And this also got me a gig on PTV World, a show called Sports Extra, which was spearheaded by Leena Moeen, Daniel Afzal, and Ali Gohar. Now Ahmed Nawaz does it. So I was on that show. And in this 4 year period, 2013 to 2017, I would whenever I had time, of course, I was studying abroad in Canada. Whenever I had time, I would, write articles for the Tribune blogs. And this also got me a gig on PTV World, a show called Sports Extra, which was spearheaded by Leena Moeen, Daniel Afzal, and Ali Gohar. Now Ahmed Nawaz does it. So I was on that show. And in this 4 year period, 2013 to 2017, I would, whenever I had time, I would, write articles for the Tribune blogs. And this also got me a gig on PTV World, a show called Sports Extra, which was spearheaded by Leena Moeen, Daniel Afzal, and Ali Gohar. Now Ahmed Nawaz does it. So I was on that show. And line got cut off. What was the last thing you heard?
You were telling about the PTV show you did with
Yeah,
your peers, and now that show is done by someone
right.
else.
So 2013 and 17, I appeared as a sports analyst on PTV World, and I wrote whenever I felt inspired for the Tribune blogs. And then I went on a 4 year hiatus. I was focusing on my corporate career. And then after like 1 year of COVID and working from home, I was like, I need to get back into this. And I started my own YouTube channel called Krikazi. Krikazi Diaries was the name of my show. And I churned out 94 videos in half a year. So it was a video every other day. And that ultimately got me noticed by grassroots cricket. And they basically said that just do the same thing for us. And for them, I started doing voiceovers, scripts, and they had animated videos with my voice at the back. And ultimately, I started hosting shows, conducting interviews, and then I made the move back from Canada to Pakistan to give this a proper go and pursue my dream, chase it, and try to make it a reality. And then I was lucky enough that I had the press pass and was able to cover the entire home season. Pakistan, was playing England first, then New Zealand, and then the entire PSL as well. So it's been a very hectic few months for me, but I couldn't be more, grateful for the opportunity and the exposure, all the visibility, and on top of that, all of the love that I've received and the encouragement. So it's been quite a ride thus far. And I hope that this is not the end of it and something better is in store in the future.
Yeah, that's an incredible journey. And okay, so you covered Pakistan domestic season as well as PSL. So since your return, how was your overall experience, and what improvements you think there should be in the overall PCB's management with media and other affairs for the fans and related to the experience they have in stadiums?
My experience has been pretty good. I think I was treated very well, and I was able to rub shoulders with some top, people in the industry. And particularly when I met like my heroes in Nasir Hussain and Michael Atherton and Ramiz Raja, these guys were the ones who I really looked up to whilst growing up, and this was huge for me, to be in the same room as them, to share the same space as them. So it was an amazing experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And even the relationships that I've been able to forge within the Pakistan spectrum in our industry, that's been also very valuable. So I am very satisfied with my experience, and I think the PCB could perhaps maybe help engage all of us who are trying to break through into the industry and maybe the domestic circuit. If I could get some opportunities to work over there via the PCB, that is something that could really work out. Because in England's whole sphere or dynamic, the ECB is in charge of the commentary and everything for county cricket and everything, the coverage. So maybe if the PCB could do something similar for our domestic circuit and guys like me could get an opportunity to work more, that could potentially help out a lot and help us kickstart our careers as well. But other than that, I was fairly satisfied. I mean, the facilities, barring Lahore maybe, because Multan, Rawalpindi and Karachi, the media box and everything, it was amazing, like 10 on 10 with respect to facilities and everything.
Yeah, as you said, you have been in this field for almost a decade. So you have observed different cricketing systems in other countries. Like England got its own county system, then India got Ranji Trophy. So in Pakistan, there has been a debate between different school of thoughts that whether to have a departmental system for domestic or the regional system. So currently, we are going back towards the departmental system. So what's your take on that? What suits the Pakistani like cricket landscape, and what do you think would be better?
So I think perhaps they should look towards a hybrid solution where they all talk about the benefits of having department cricket and domestic cricket. And sure, okay, I'll take that argument. As a fan, I'm more invested in the regional cricket that we were having in domestic cricket, like KP versus Sindh. It gets my juices flowing. I tune into it, and I don't particularly care about PIA versus HBL, right? So perhaps they could look into some sort of hybrid solution in which the departments could also get involved, but you keep some sort of city names so that teams have identities. And if Karachi, HBL Karachi versus PIA Islamabad is a thing, if that is a game, then I'd still tune in because there's stakes over here and it means something. So I think personally they should look towards some sort of hybrid solution, which I don't think they're going to do. But in an ideal world, if you ask me, that's what I would go for and try to plug all the holes and make sure that there's still a buy-in from the fans and they're still invested in it. Because if you don't have support, what's the point of it all?
Exactly. Okay, so moving ahead towards the Pakistan Super League. So this was the first season in which we had cricket being played at multiple venues at the same day. So how do you see the whole journey of PSL from shifting from UAE to Pakistan, and then COVID hitting, then we are restricted to two venues, then half of the season going back to UAE. So this time we had a successful PSL in four venues. So, how do you see the journey, and what are your expectations from PSL in the next couple of years?
It's been quite a journey, really, when you put it that way. They started off by hosting the entire thing in the UAE. Then in the second edition, they did bring the tournament to, or well, the final to Pakistan, but it was under unruly circumstances, and a lot of players they disagreed to make the visit. But ultimately, what that did was it broke some barriers and opened doors for future tournaments to return to Pakistan. And I think it was a very good transition. They transitioned it really well back to the country, and now it's held entirely in the country. But then again, yeah, there were other challenges. COVID ruined PSL a fair few times, right? I think a couple of times where the tournament initially was moved back to UAE just to complete the remainder of the games. And then also, uh, I think last year, yeah, was it? It was, yes. Last year, they delayed the last 3 or 4 games of the playoffs or something like that, and they were held quite late, if I'm not wrong. Or perhaps I'm thinking of
They
the
were
year before. But
shifted to
basically,
Karachi, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, yeah, I think that might have been PSL 6, maybe. I can't quite remember now, but point is that there were a lot of challenges COVID related as well. And it took them some time to hold an entire tournament in Pakistan without any, issues. And this was that first time. And to the credit of the PCB, they were able to take the tournament to 4 different test centers: Multan, Lahore, Rawalpindi, and Karachi. And that's very important for this league. In the future, I'd love to see Peshawar and Quetta also host games, because when each team is playing at home and away, that's when it really gets interesting, because you have the home fans and it adds more to the drama. And I think that would be the future that I would want for the PSL. And yes, I mean, I think it's a brand that's constantly building year after year. I think it is the second best franchise tournament in the world for sure, in my eyes, at least behind the IPL. And there's a certain flavor about the PSL. It's more than a cricket tournament. It helped resurrect cricket back in Pakistan, international cricket. And when we, bring in players, it's bigger than that. It's not just a cricket tournament, and they feel it. I've talked to a lot of players, and they actually do feel that. And I think that's great, because cricket means a hell of a lot to this country. It's a second religion, and people, they've been starved over the years, and I'm very happy that now they get to see all of these players, their own local stars plus foreign stars,
Yeah.
fill up their stadiums, and play cricket over here. And what's also important is that what was my train of thought over here? I can't quite recall the train of thought, but yeah, I suppose the fact that each city gets to host its own team like Peshawar and Quetta in the future, that would be great. And yes, I sorry, I just remembered my point. It's a feeder league. You see all of these players from other countries, they come here and they stamp their authority, like Harry Brook or Tim David, or what was the guy who played for England earlier, David Malan. These guys
Yeah.
came and staked their claim at the PSL and then went on to represent their countries. And Harry Brook today is an all format superstar, an up and coming, behemoth of cricket. And he was launched or kickstarted, his career was kickstarted by the PSL. So I think that's what their brand should be. They should look at up and coming talent, and they should come and express themselves and go on to make names for their countries. That's how I see the PSL.
All right, so you are associated with the grassroots cricket, and they have some inclination with Southern Punjab Association, which won't be in the next season, but there's some connection with Multan Sultan as well. So my question is, Islamabad United and Multan Sultans are such franchises which believe in data. But on the other side, if we look at Lahore Calendars, they believe in other type of brand of cricket in which they prefer on other strategies, giving chances to their core players. So, in your opinion, in this modern T20 era, is data the hour of need, or it's not necessary for all kind of franchises? What's your
I'm
take
de-
on that?
I'm definitely pro data, because I think that if you can get some insights from, statisticians, and you can look at matchups and what sort of weaknesses the other team possesses, what are their strengths, you can only equip yourself better and can be more prepared out there on the field. And numbers, for the most part, don't lie. I do also believe that the entire story cannot be judged from stats alone, because cricket is a game which is very condition reliant as well. So you have to
Yeah.
look at things accordingly. And if there's a certain kind of surface, then you need to look at data with respect to that kind of surface and those kind of conditions. So you need to use data smartly, and there's some amazing people working in this field, and a lot of good work has been done. Islamabad and Multan, you rightly pointed out, are two teams that use data to their advantage and very, very well. I am definitely pro data, but also, like, with respect to Pakistan, there's some limitations in the team right now, because there are some players who might not be playing cricket as per the fans liking, or the way the team, everyone wants to see the team playing with respect to modern cricket and all. But I believe that with the help of data, you can help them figure out what they need to do to enhance their game up to that level and play that brand of cricket. And I think cricket is and T20 cricket in particular is ever evolving. You can also argue the same for test cricket because of baseball and everything. But you have to go on along with the times. And I am really happy to see all the promising batting talent that was on show in this PSL, with respect to Pakistan local players, the likes of Saim Ayub, Mohammad Haris, Azam Khan, even Mirza Tahir Beg and Abdullah Shafiq, and these guys, they all did really well. And that's extremely promising for Pakistan. And that excites me. But I think in the future, moving forward, Pakistan's national team should also look to incorporate data a bit. I don't particularly care about the franchises as much. They can do what they want to do, but Pakistan need to have that expertise at their disposal and should be looking to, gain as much insight from data as they possibly can.
All right. So in this PSL, there's a question by Murid Abbas. His question is that Asaim Ayub was useful in Rawalpindi as he scored a lot of runs. Should we consider him in UAE in Sharjah against Afghanistan in the T20 series? So is it too early for him, or in the absence of Rizwan and Babar, we should try him? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, they selected him, right? And I'm not opposed to the idea of, resting your big players in a series that is quite useless in terms of stakes. Even if Pakistan goes on to lose the series 3-0, so what? You know, there's no real thing on the line over here. Both teams aren't really playing for some sort of qualification or anything. It's just three T20s. And I think it's fair to rest your big guns and blood some youngsters. And I think Saim is a youngster who, whatever conditions they may be, he needs game time. And this could be a really golden opportunity for Pakistan in which you can give these young guys a lot of game time, blood them, and even if he fails, we know he's talented. We know that he's fearless and plays modern cricket, and he has quite a few shots, isn't it? Like if you look at Saim Ayub's range, there's a lot he can do. He can drive you through the covers. He can lift you off for a no-look paddle scoop, and it's a fast bowler, so that's quite a skill set. And he's quite strong on the leg side as well as he is on the off side. I like him. I really do. And I think he has a future in Pakistan cricket. There's no such thing as too early in T20 cricket. Maybe in Test cricket, you have an argument over there for batters
Mhm.
that they need some
Yeah.
mileage under their belt, with respect to first class cricket and all. But I think if T20 cricket he was able to play it in the PSL and impress us all, then he can definitely play against Afghanistan. And what I would say to all of you guys is that let's try and not be overcritical of these players. Let them go out and express themselves. If they fail, they fail. This series should be one in which Pakistan is looking to blood new talent and give them more exposure. That is the only takeaway. If they win, it's an icing on the cake. It's just a bonus.
Okay, so my another question is related to Shaheen Shah Afridi. We all know he's world class player and he have proved it in World T20 World Cup. But since he's given captaincy, we have seen a new Shaheen Shah Afridi in which he's the captain as well as the all rounder. So what kind of help it will give to the Pakistan national team with Shaheen hitting quick runs and having these cameos? So, how useful it can be for Pakistan, and as well as for future, do you think Shaheen Shafridi can be considered for Pakistan national team captaincy since he's just 23? He will be turning 23 next month. So, how do you see this player in the coming years?
So you've asked a lot of questions over there. I'll try to answer all of them. Shaheen is young, right? That's the most exciting part out of all of this. He's not that old and he's just literally at the top of his game right now. There's so much more room to develop. You're literally seeing it with his batting as well. There's just so much more room to develop, and sky's the limit, really. The possibilities are endless. Shaheen could become anything because he has all the talent in the world, and now he's started to deliver with the bat as well. And I know a lot of people were critical of Shaheen when he used to promote himself in the group games. I've also said it on occasion. First time I enjoyed it. Next few times I was like, okay, maybe this isn't smart, but he proved us all wrong in the final. He came out and
Exactly.
he hit 44 runs in 15 balls, and credit to him. So I think that Shaheen has bucket loads of potential. He could go on to maybe even become bigger than Wasim Akram if he keeps his work ethic in check and if he keeps himself grounded. Shaheen, the captain, has obviously been impressive. He's a very impressive leader. He gives his players a lot of confidence and he's aggressive. But if I have one criticism of Shaheen, maybe is because sometimes I feel it's a personal thing. You guys can disagree that he gets or he lets emotion get the better of him at times. And I think that he needs to maybe learn from his peers like Shadab, Babar, Rizwan, who are more calm and collected and have a lot more composure. That's something that Shaheen could pick up. But ultimately, you've got these four players that I've just named, and they're all leaders in their own right now. And to have this core of four players who are at the top of their game and are world renowned and are hot commodities, if you have that leadership core in a team, that can only benefit you. I would not entrust the captaincy duties on Shaheen too soon as far as Pakistan is concerned. It could be a possibility in the future, but right now, I think Pakistan has better options elsewhere. And I want him to continue to captain the Kalandars and gain experience and just grow with time and mature. And
Mhm.
I want Shaheen to just not lose his way and keep focusing on his skills and his game because he really, really is like uber talented. Like I said before, sky's the limit.
All right. So in this Pakistan Afghanistan series, we have seen the return of many players. Imad Wasim is returning. Azam Khan is returning. Apart from that, a lot of players which who performed in the PSL are making their debut in the squad. But one such player has been left out, who is the leading wicket taker of this PSL. That is Abbas Afridi, who is not just considered in this Pakistan Afghanistan series, but he's left out from Pakistan Shaheen squad. So, what do you see? What could be the possible reason for PCB selection committee for not picking him up? Is it too soon for him, or there could be some other possible reasons in your mind?
I suppose you had Sanullah and Zaman Khan who were doing really well with the ball and you wanted to reward them. And it's a home series for Afghanistan, so expect the Sharjah wicket to be really slow. It's not going to be one that's going to favor fast bowlers. And you can only select a limited amount of fast bowlers when you have those kind of conditions in front of you. And I think, objectively speaking, Hasanullah and Zaman Khan are better options than Abbas Afridi. Abbas is young, he's an emerging player. He can also bat. He showed us that in the final. And, he'll only get better from here. This is a big launch pad for him personally and will give him a lot of confidence to further up his game, work on his variations, work on his pace as well. He is a very, very talented young kid and hardworking young kid. I know people in the Multan Sultan's setup, and they've told me that he trains his socks off. This kid works really, really hard, and those are good things. And I think the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And Omar Gul was a thorough professional, and you'd expect his nephew to pick up on that. So I think Abbas definitely has a future in Pakistan cricket, but right now there just weren't enough available slots, because you also, have other players in that squad who might not get a game with respect to like fast bowling. And yeah, I think that yes, he could have been selected, but I don't think it's a big miss that he isn't. I think it's fine. And the fact that he's the Fazal Mahmood cap holder in this PSL will do wonders for his morale and confidence. And, this can be a stepping stone for him to really go and make it big later on.
All right, so Pakistan under 19 and Shaheen squads would be touring Zimbabwe later on. And PCB announced an under 19 squad who's captained by Saad Beg, who was also part of the PJL. And then if we talk about Shaheens, we have seen some performing players like Hasibullah, who played for Zulmi, then Kamran Ghulam, Mir Hamza, Amir Jamal, and more players, as you can see on the screen. So, with these A tours and under 19 tours, do you think it's a great thing for these youngsters? Since I think PJL is not being continuing in this new management, so how important would these tours would be for these youngsters, in your opinion?
First of all, I think the PGL would have worked out had we kept a little bit of faith in it. Maybe, yes, there were lots of losses in the first tournament, but the brand could have been built. And I was tuning in, and I know a lot of people who were tuning in. I think ultimately sponsorship would have made sense, and you could have taken this tournament somewhere. So I think that is a loss. But this is very important. This is more important because you have to give your under 19s and your Pak Shaheens, which are essentially your Pakistan A team, you have to give them exposure, and you have to help like make them play other under 19 teams and A teams abroad in different conditions, so that they have, or they can work on their skill set, which is outside of Asia or outside of Pakistan, because that's very important. First class cricket limits you to these conditions, and they need to be able to play all across the globe. So in terms of preparation and development and ultimately breaking it into the first team, I think A2 are very, very important. And under 19s just as much, because these are young kids. And if you make them play under 19 teams from other places in the world, that will only benefit them. And you put a multiplier on their growth, an exponential multiplier. And I think that's why this is a very good initiative. We should have more of these. And, you look at India, they always send their A teams and under 19 teams to like Sena countries. I think Pakistan should do the same, because that's where it's at, really. That's the kind of exposure you want to give your fringe players and young guns.
All right. So there's another question from Murid Abbas, and his question is related to Imad and Nawaz. So can Imad and Nawaz both adjust in the playing 11 at the same time during the series, or we would have to select one of them?
I think you don't have much options, because Osama Mir is a reserve player in the series. You've got Shadab Khan as the other spinner. And then you have Iftikhar Ahmed, but you don't want to be looking at him as a primary bowler. So if the wickets will take turn and will be slow, which is what I expect, you need at least three spinners in the team. And good thing is that both Imad and Nawaz can bat. So that only helps strengthen or deepen the batting lineup as well. I would play both in the same team in this particular series, because I think that is what the conditions will require. Horses for courses, as they say. And yeah, I think they can both operate in tandem. They're still different kind of left arm off spinners. Imad can bowl in the power play. Nawaz can come in the middle, perhaps once the power play is done. And Shadab, of course, is Shadab. He's your quality leg spinner, and you'll need him for sure. He's also the captain. So those three guys need to be bowling 10 to 12 overs every game, and you don't have another spinner. So what are you going to do? If you had another spinner, we could have an argument of who could sit amongst those two and who could play. But since there's no one else, I would play all three: Shadab, Imad, and Nawaz.
Exactly, and there's another comment on Shine's captaincy, which you already covered while discussing about him being a lot of emotion. emotional. So this is
So
already
just a
covered.
bit on that. It's just a
Yeah.
bit on that. It's good to be aggressive. It's good to show emotions, but it's not wise to let your emotions get the better of you. I don't want Shaheen to be any less animated. He can continue to show that aggression. He just needs to get a control over it that it doesn't impact his game. That's all I meant over there. If there's any confusion.
All right. Okay. So in this show, we have some games and questions. So
Hmm.
we would go towards that. The first one is guess the star.
All
A
right,
player's picture would appear on the screen, and you would have to guess it.
let's do it. Paul Collingwood.
Yeah, correct. Spot
Hmm.
on. Okay, so the next one is questions. There will be two questions, and you will have to answer them. So the
All
first
right.
question will be on the screen. Who broke Afridi's record of fastest ODI 100?
The New Zealander Corey Anderson.
Yeah, correct. That's correct. Okay, so the next question is PSL has been hosted on how many venues in total?
All right, let's count them. Right, you got the UAE ones: Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Multan, Rawalpindi, Karachi, Lahore. 7.
Yeah, they
There
were
we go.
pretty easy for you.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's from the questions, and then we have a last segment, which is the prediction hat. In this segment, you will have to guess. You will have to predict the outcome of Pakistan versus Afghanistan series. It's a three-match series. So what do you think would be the outcome?
I'm going to be modest and say 2-1 Pakistan. I do think that they still have it in them, even this depleted squad. I wouldn't call it depleted squad, a young squad. I think they have it in them to win the series. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to go with an optimistic prediction and say 2-1 Pakistan.
All right. So thank you, Behram, for your time and for having a discussion with us. And thank you for coming. And this is also the last episode of our this season. It was the 14th episode, and I will like to thank Abdurrahman Shabazz Khan for arranging everything. And it was his initiative, and he did brilliantly. So, Behram, before going, what's your message for the audience regarding the Pakistan series? Like, what do you expect from the Pakistan team in this? If you like, want to give a summary on everything in just few sentences.
I would ask the fans to keep an open mind, not to be too reactive. If the team loses, it's fine. That's not the purpose of this series. The purpose is to blood new youngsters. So support the team, support the youngsters, let them go out there and express themselves. I hope the team does that and they play with freedom and everyone is able to sort of stamp their authority and make a claim that, okay, we deserve to be in the first team. That's what I want these youngsters to do. And it'll be a very exciting series to watch. So please watch it with an open mind and not be very result oriented in this particular series. And if Pakistan wins, rejoice. If they lose, let's not bash them right now. And I think that it's fine. It's a useless series anyway in terms of like stakes and everything. And
Yeah.
to you guys, best of luck wherever you do and take this initiative forward. I'm very happy when I see other people, sort of, make that or take that initiative and jump right into it, start doing these shows. That's what I did. So it makes me very happy when other people do that. Thanks for inviting me. Of course, it was lovely. And I had a lot of fun talking about cricket over here. I mean, I love doing that anyway. And I wish you guys the best of luck. And I hope that good things are in store. So keep at it. Always be consistent. The consistency part is absolutely key with this. Don't be discouraged. Ultimately, if you do good enough work and if you just keep at it and persevere, things will start happening for you. So best of luck.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we wish you all the best for your goals and wherever you want to achieve. All the best to you as well, and thank
Thank you.
you all the audience for watching this episode as well. Signing off, Fazan Khan. Allah Hafiz.